When you're in the early stages of recovering from a nervous breakdown, it's really important to regularly check in with your emotional and mental health and well-being. How am I really feeling right now in this moment? Where in my body do I have that feeling? What one step can I take today to help me journey towards greater self-care and healing? There are no right or wrong answers, just your truth in this moment. This check-in is about reconnecting with yourself, building self-awareness, and gently preparing for the next stage of your healing journey. Next week, I'll be sharing with you a guided meditation on how to connect in with your natural inner healer. So this video is an opportunity to begin preparing for that by turning inwards and practicing being present with yourself. I'm Karen Packwood, and this is the Spirit Spa Sanctuary, an online sanctuary dedicated to supporting you if you're in the early stages of recovering from a nervous breakdown, helping you to understand why the breakdown happened to you and work out your next natural steps towards rebuilding a flourishing life for yourself. A really helpful way to monitor these inner feelings and track them is by journaling. In my very first video that I ever created for this channel, I invited you to start keeping a journal to record each of your steps forward on your journey. Even if it was just really tiny things, like one day being able to brush your teeth, the next day being able to get out of bed, another day, perhaps a few weeks later, being able to get dressed. And one of the reasons why I said this was helpful is because it actually helps you track your progress. It's quite incredible to look back after just a few weeks or just a few months to see how far you've come on your healing journey. So with your journal today, I'm going to ask you some very simple questions, and then I'm going to give you a minute to just journal your answers to those questions. And remember, there is no right or wrong answer. So let's begin with that first question. How am I really feeling today in this moment? Take a moment to just journal your honest, authentic answer to that question without judgment. Where in my body am I feeling that feeling? Take a moment to just notice where in your body you're feeling that feeling, and then make some notes in your journal, or perhaps sketch the part of the body and see what words want to come to you, what thoughts, what wisdom, perhaps some guidance. So I'll be quiet for a moment and then I'll be speaking again. What might I need today to take one step forward in self-care and healing? And I'll be quiet for one moment to allow you to journal or sketch the answers that come forward to you. Notice that these are very short periods of time to write, and yet it's extraordinary sometimes how much we can write in a moment. And it doesn't matter if you've written paragraphs, or just a word, or even a scribble. Sometimes when I journal and I'm working with my emotions, it doesn't come out as words. It can be a sketch, it can be a scribble, it can be a doodle, it can be all sorts of marks over the page. It doesn't have to be perfectly formed words and sentences, because sometimes words, particularly if they're linked with trauma, and trauma is pre-verbal, if they're linked with trauma, sometimes they don't have actual letters and sounds and proper formulation. Sometimes they are scattered letters, letters written backwards, letters scribbled, marks splashed all over the page. So don't judge yourself. This isn't an exercising writing an essay. This is an essay. This is a process of authentic expression and taking out your deep emotions out of you and onto a page, externalizing what can often be quite stuck, difficult and unspeakable thoughts, feelings, emotions and memories. Most people in the early stages of recovering from a nervous breakdown are still in a state of shock, carrying a lot of trauma, and don't quite understand how it can be processed, transformed and healed. How mental peace, mental health and well-being, emotional health and well-being, spiritual health and well-being can actually be attained again. But by using a very simple technique such as the exercise in today's video, you can begin the process. Treat it as a sacred daily ritual, perhaps first thing in the morning or last thing at night, or just when you're overwhelmed. Come to the page, come to those 3 questions and journal on what wants to come forward. What wants to come forward represents your self-love, your inner love, the part of you that cares deeply about your health, your well-being and your recovery. It often knows how to take us very gently through the process of healing. But it can also show us the parts of us that may be quite self-brutal, the parts of us that can be quite harsh on ourselves, self-judgmental, self-critical, that can actually keep us stuck in our trauma and stuck in the unwellness of our breakdown. But by bringing it to the page, you begin to be able to see it out in front of you. And once you can see it, you can build a much more pragmatic relationship with it, on how to work with it, what elements of it are working for you, and what elements of those inner voices are actually hindering you. So the journaling becomes a process of refinement, self-refinement, mental, emotional, spiritual and physical refinement, gently taking you forwards towards recovery. This is a slow, gentle, peaceful and self-loving activity, even if really difficult emotions come up. And there are many videos on my channel about those difficult emotions and guided meditations to help and support you with them. The Spirit Spa Sanctuary is deliberately called a sanctuary, a safe space of peace, harmony, or at least a sacred space to receive with great love any elements of your recovery that feels difficult or insurmountable. So gently come to the page each and every day. Turn it into a rhythm, a ritual, a habit, and watch the evolution of your healing journey. Take a moment to share how you're feeling today in the comments, or email me at karenpackwood@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss next week's guided meditation. And I am wishing you a very peaceful and self-loving day.